Welcome back to the channel, everyone. As a longtime comic reader and fan of Black Panther, the news of T'Challa now being recasted has in a way rubbed myself and many others in the wrong way. While we understand Marvel Studios' intention to be respectful to Chadwick Boseman and his sudden unfortunate passing, it doesn't take away the character he portrayed in MCU's importance to the universe, especially in the source material where he is 90% of Black Panther series lore, which in my opinion should be reflected in live action. Therefore, in this video, I've compiled Sleven storylines from the comics that would never be touched upon should T'Challa cease to exist in the MCU. Let's get it. Yo. First and foremost is quite possibly the most popular event involving T'Challa among hardcore blurs and casuals. His intimate relationship and eventual marriage to the popular Omega level mutant Aurora Monroe, aka Storm of the X-Men. Both of them became acquainted when they were very young during the time T'Challa was set on his warrior pilgrimage and Aurora was making her way to her mother's home in Kenya after being orphaned in Cairo. Aurora came upon a young T'Challa getting kidnapped and saved them, thus lamenting their friendship. After traveling a while together, they eventually developed feelings for one another, but unfortunately, T'Challa's duties as the next king of Wakanda had them go on their separate ways. Many years later, both became prominent heroes, T'Challa becoming the Black Panther and an Avenger, while Aurora becoming the X-Man, Storm. Until the day T'Challa decided it was time to get married, and proposed to Storm after years of being apart. After a brief reconciling of feelings, Aurora accepted. Their wedding took place during the Marvel Civil War and served as a ceasefire during the conflict of the Superhero Registration Act. Unfortunately, this did not last as the Avengers vs. the X-Men conflict ended their marriage, but even then T'Challa and Aurora would continue to have an on and off relationship till this day. Speaking of mutants, T'Challa has had a long-standing royal rivalry with the King of Atlantis, Namor the Submariner. Given that both T'Challa and Namor are both kings of the most advanced civilizations on Earth, you know tensions and conflicts are inevitable, boiling to the point of both of them having a hatred for each other because of their naturalistic personalities. Due to events of Avengers vs. the X-Men, Namor, being a mutant himself, took this opportunity to attack the city of Wakanda, since Black Panther was a member of the Avengers. Imbued with the power of the Phoenix, Namor unleashed a tidal wave, killing many civilians and declaring war on Wakanda. Now you know Wakanda was not going to just sit idly by and let Atlantis get away with this. While Wakanda rebuilt itself, Shuri, at the time being the current queen of the nation, ordered a counteroffensive that nearly decimated the city of Atlantis. This back and forth between the rulers has continued to go on till this day and is hopefully something we can see down the line. In relation to Namor, the next storyline involves a superhero team that he's often come in contact with, and we are soon to see in the MCU, the Fantastic Four. Yeah, you guessed correctly. I am talking about that event in Fantastic Four issue 52, the comic that introduced T'Challa the Black Panther and had him go head to head with the Fantastic Four. I believe this would be the perfect way to introduce the Fantastic Four to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. If you are unaware of this story, the first family received a gift and an invitation to come visit Wakanda, and upon their arrival, end up fighting off attacks in the mechanical forest. Unaware that the individual in all black is the ruler of the nation, and he is testing their strength. Once the test is over, T'Challa introduces himself to the team and invites them to stay at his home, telling them his origins and how he would like their help in stopping Claw. Also, T'Challa almost ended up clapping Sue's cheeks, but T'Challa was like, nah, I ain't gonna do my science bro like that. All in all, they end up defeating Claw and hindering him from stealing more vibranium from Wakanda in the next issue. Since we're on the topic of Fantastic Four, let's bring up the most famous supervillain of all time, Dr. Doom. A great storyline which could even be its own movie, about the Doom War where Dr. Doom invades Wakanda for vibranium, of course, and incites the overthrow of the royal family via coup by the Desturi tribe. This same tribe has put Storm on trial for alleged crimes against humanity and practicing witchcraft. But with the help of the X-Men, T'Challa and Shuri regain control of the nation from T'Challa, leader of the Desturi and minion of Doom. Long story short, T'Challa renders all vibranium in the world inert and useless in order to stop Dr. Doom from using the priceless metal, defeating him in the process. Yeah, you read correctly. T'Challa has had a run where he replaced Daredevil as the defender of Hell's Kitchen. This took place right after the end of Doom War. So with no vibranium, his sister on the throne, and no powers from the heart-shaped herb, Black Panther started in anew, became the new man without fear in Black Panther issue 513. After Daredevil's brief time being possessed by a demon, he asked T'Challa to fill in for him while he takes some time off to find himself. This was an perfect opportunity for T'Challa as well to get off his high horse and be a more grounded individual, taking on an alias of Mr. Okonkwo, bought a diner in Hell's Kitchen to familiarize himself with the local residents, and fought street-level criminals using just the exceptional fighting abilities, basic tools, gadgets, and body armor when patrolling New York. This also gave him more opportunity to interact with street-level heroes like Luke Cage, Spider-Man, and the Punisher, taking a break from Avengers-level threats. Also, his suit was so fire. Look at this. Did you know that T'Challa had a run-in with the Klan? Yeah. Back in Stanley and Jack Kirby's heyday of 1970s New York, Black Panther's ongoing comic jungle action. Issue number 21 involved the Black Panther taking on white fragility in southern Georgia. Supposedly, the backstory for how this came to fruition was that executives at Marvel told Jack Kirby that he was not to draw and write T'Challa, a black man, harming white men for fear of backlash from their predominantly white fanbase. So Kirby complied and said, bet. And instead of the Black Panther fighting visibly white dudes, he had him put on the paws on white men with hoods on. I mean, it's not like he wasn't following the rules. They have hoods on, so all's fair. Although he's not necessarily a member of Marvel's secret team of leaders and intellectual heroes, Black Panther is responsible for bringing them together and has often worked with the Illuminati, comprising of Professor X, Iron Man, Namor, Black Bolt, Doctor Strange, and Mr. Fantastic to alleviate external threats and preventing catastrophes to Earth, taking the necessary measures that most heroes would deem as dishonorable or immoral. These are only a few of the interesting storylines that involve T'Challa the Black Panther, and removing him from the MCU will more than likely result in these events not taking place or a reiteration that is not up to par. Hopefully Marvel sees this video and others that are making the case that T'Challa is too integral to the Marvel universe to not recast. What other storylines involving T'Challa do you think were awesome and interesting that you would like to see a live action rendition of? Did these storylines capture your attention? Take the time to name and list them down below in the comments, and make sure to share this video with other Marvel fans. Make sure to check out my previous top Sleven videos, especially the ones involving the MCU or Marvel. I will leave a link to the playlist below in the description. You know the vibes. It's Kaizoku Sleven. Appreciate you.